Carl Jung believed that most people lose their mental strength not because of external circumstances, but because of hidden psychological environments that quietly drain them from within. These are not physical places, but mental spaces we unconsciously inhabit, traps that rewire the brain against itself. Jung discovered 7 such environments that destroy nearly 90% of a person's psychological energy. In 1961, Jung treated a patient who appeared successful and normal on the outside but was slowly unraveling mentally. After careful exploration, Jung traced the issue to these very environments. By learning to recognize and step out of them, the patient not only recovered but transformed his life. These lessons remain just as relevant today. 1. The echo chamber. The first and most dangerous environment Jung identified as the echo chamber, a space where every voice mirrors back your own beliefs, biases, and fears. At first, it feels safe. But Jung warned that it slowly poisons the mind. When every idea is reinforced rather than challenged, critical thinking decays. Your worldview becomes rigid, fragile, and intolerant of difference. Warning signs include predictability in conversations, defensiveness when confronted with opposing views, and the inability to ask, "What if I'm wrong?" The danger of echo chambers is not just stagnation but mental shrinkage. They make you weaker, not stronger. 2. The comparison arena. Once trapped in echo chambers, people easily fall into the comparison arena. Here, worth is measured only against others' achievements. Instead of fueling growth, comparison creates constant inadequacy. Every success feels hollow because someone else has done better. Jung called this the inflation-deflation cycle. You feel superior one moment, inferior the next, but never simply yourself. Life becomes a race without a finish line, and in the process, your true desires are buried under society's scoreboard. 3. The performance theater. The performance theater is where masks replace authenticity. Jung's patient, working in a corporate setting, learned to suppress his real self for approval. The longer he performed, the more he lost touch with his identity. Jung called this persona identification, when the role you play becomes your entire reality. Eventually, compromise after compromise leaves you hollow, exhausted, and unsure of who you are without the mask. 4. The silent suffering space. In some families or relationships, open conflict is avoided at all costs. On the surface, this appears peaceful. But Jung recognized it as the silent suffering space, where emotional needs are denied, intimacy is replaced by appearances, and pain festers unspoken. This environment produces what Jung described as emotional starvation. Needs do not vanish when ignored, they go underground, emerging as anxiety, depression, or emptiness. Silence here is not peace but suppression. 5. The chaos storm. If silence suppresses, chaos overwhelms. The chaos storm is a constant barrage of noise, busyness, and stimulation, social gatherings, media, endless tasks. Jung's patient filled every moment with activity, not from preference but from fear of stillness. Jung recognized this as avoidance. Quiet moments bring unresolved pain to the surface, so chaos becomes addictive. But overstimulation scatters the mind, leaving it fragmented, impulsive, and incapable of wisdom. 6. The self-abandonment chamber. Perhaps the most insidious of all, the self-abandonment chamber is where you betray yourself daily. You override your instincts, ignore your needs, and live according to expectations rather than truth. Society often praises this as maturity or responsibility, which makes it especially hard to detect. Jung described this as soul loss. The longer you live for others, the more estranged you become from your authentic self. Eventually, you may succeed outwardly while feeling utterly hollow inside. 7. The shadow basement. The final and most dangerous environment exists entirely within, the shadow basement. This is where we bury the parts of ourselves we are too ashamed, afraid, or unwilling to face. But what is repressed does not disappear. Instead, it grows stronger, surfacing as self-sabotage, projection, or sudden rage. Jung called this shadow possession. The shadow can wreck your life if avoided, but when faced with compassion, it becomes a source of creativity, empathy, and power. The key is integration, not rejection. Jung's escape protocol, recognizing these environments, is the first step. Jung developed a path of escape he called individuation. 1. Conscious recognition. Admit where you are without self-judgment. 2. Environmental audit. Assess the physical and digital spaces you enter daily. 3. Strategic withdrawal. Reduce exposure to toxic environments and set boundaries. 4. Conscious integration. Create positive spaces where authenticity and growth thrive. 5. Shadow work. Face what you've buried through reflection, therapy, or journaling. 6. Regular maintenance. Stay vigilant. These environments seduce with false comfort. Jung's patient, after 6 months of applying these steps, regained clarity, authenticity, and resilience. He rebuilt his relationships, pursued meaningful work, and even became a therapist himself, guiding others out of the same traps. The ripple effect of freedom. Jung emphasized that escaping these traps does more than heal the individual, it reshapes entire systems. When one person breaks free from silent suffering or self-abandonment, others are challenged to confront their own patterns. This ripple effect transforms families, workplaces, and communities. Choosing growth over comfort. Echo chambers promise belonging. Comparison offers motivation. Performance brings approval. Silence looks like peace. Chaos distracts from pain. Self-abandonment avoids conflict. Shadow hides shame. But Jung warned that each of these comes at the cost of your mental strength. The question isn't whether you'll encounter these environments, you will. The question is whether you'll recognize them, leave them, and create spaces that nurture authenticity and growth. Jung believed the future of human consciousness depends on individuals who choose freedom over unconscious conformity. Your mind is not the enemy, but the places you allow it to inhabit can either weaken or strengthen you. So ask yourself, which of these 7 dangerous places have you been living in, and are you ready to leave?